everybody. Welcome out to the second episode of The Main Talk. I'm Dylan Sasser.
I'm Jaydan Openshaw.
Quick shout out to Harrison Carr for making our setup a little bit more technical. As you guys can kind of see, we're a little bit more high-tech than we were last time with our fancy.
Wearing some headphones, got a soundboard in the background, making sure this all goes through. But
really cool thing that Harrison's helping us out with today, and I think we're going to start incorporating that more into our show on a day-to-day basis. Well, not a day-to-day, but we do want to do this more often, like weekly. So watch for us weekly. And also another quick shout-out to Tanner Kilpack and Daniel Sasser for helping us here on the floor. So our first topic for today is siblings in school. Now, Jane, you don't have any. Have you ever gone to school with your siblings?
in elementary school, but I didn't really ever see him or interact with him or anything, because in elementary school you're kind of stuck in your own grade.
Yeah.
You don't move around with the other grades, so.
And, I've always had a sibling in school with me, except for like 2 years of my entire life. And that was in elementary school, and my little brother was not in a different building than me. It's kind of weird having a sibling in school. There's ups and downs. I think there's mostly downs, though. From a person who's currently in school with his siblings, I'd say it's mostly downs. One of the issues I have with them is I'm always trying to compete against them. Always trying to one-up them. Especially my sister Kia, who's the same age as me. I've tried to go on dates. More dates than her. I've tried to get driving before her. And I think that's it. But I'm sure there's a lot of other stuff I try to compete in.
Yeah, you probably try to compete in grades with her, too.
Yeah, that's hard.
At some point in time.
That's hard. She's quite a bit more better student than I am. But another thing that I've noticed, your siblings have a few, especially if you're older than them. I have 3 siblings coming up through the grades behind me. And they're always talking about how teachers compare them to you. And I remember in 9th grade, Mr. Corbett, the science teacher at Payson Junior High, talked about how sometimes when he really liked an older sibling, he hated their younger sibling. And I think that's an issue with...
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. Because that can also give the teacher, make them more, I don't know, what would you say?
Compare them to them.
Compare them, yeah, that's for sure.
So-and-so did this, but these guys do this, and that's annoying. I hate when so-and-so does this.
Especially because usually they're not, exact copy of each other, Yeah. So, that could affect that.
So, that's our perspective on having a sibling in school. Be sure to check out Harley Huff's Siblings in School, coming out in March, the March edition of the Main Street Journal. And she has plenty of family here at the Payson High School, so she'll probably give you some different insights on that. So next up on our list, we have a very awesome opportunity this Friday for Ira Glass, the public radio legend that comes to Payson High School. Have you heard why he's coming?
He's coming to do it's like a segment on how Utahns ask people to dances.
And it's kind of a weird thing up here.
See, I didn't realize it was that different throughout the entire world until probably this year, when people started talking about how we ask weird ways compared to the rest of the nation.
Yeah, you go on Pinterest, and I spend a lot of time on Pinterest figuring out how to ask girls the dances, getting answers for them. But you see them, and it makes me wonder, how many of these people are outside of Utah? Are these just is Pinterest just a Utah thing? I don't know.
That's for sure, because I don't know, it's weird to think about. We're really the only state that does it.
Yeah, I don't know why. I can't give you a definite reason. We're outcasts in that sense, where we're just so crazy that we have to fill a person's room full of balloons and make them sort through it to figure out who the heck did it and why they did it.
Because usually in other states, I've heard they just go up to them and ask them, "Hey, would you go to the dance with me?"
Yeah, and that's
kind of like how you would just ask, during to a normal date,
Okay. Yeah, Ira Glass, he's, for those of you who aren't familiar with his work, he does This American Life on the National Post Register, I believe, and which is a top 10 podcast in the country.
All the time, too.
Yeah.
He has a lot of listeners who go and listen to his podcast.
Which is crazy to think. Last year, Period was talking to us about him, how we should try to be more like him in like our newscasting style.
For sure.
And now we actually get to meet him on Friday, which is cool. And I wish I had a more crazy story to tell about dance proposal, but I don't. I'm pretty tame. I don't do the fancy dance proposals. My first couple dances, I just walked up to them. But recently, for the Sweethearts dance, Harley Huff, I'm sure, we just talked about her story.
Yeah.
She came to my house, and I didn't know I was going to ask. I just kind of counted myself out. I hear a knock on the door, and my sister answers it. She knew that Harley was coming. She's like, he's right here. And I'm just sitting in the chair in my pajamas because it's Monday, Martin Luther King Day. I wasn't intending to see anybody. Mm-hmm. And she's all like, hands me a rotisserie chicken. And like, here. And I'm like, what the crap?
You're like, why do I have a chicken?
And I'm like, okay. So, and it says, don't be a chicken, go to Sweethearts with me. And I'm like, should I take this as a threat? Should I alert the police to my predicament currently here? So, you got to ask the Sweethearts recently.
I did too. I wasn't even expecting it. I was at work and you just asked me for my address. And I'm like, what the heck? Okay. And then I asked you and you gave me this weird story. I'm not going to talk about it because...
It was weird.
Yeah. But, yeah, I ended up getting asked by, I got a fish.
Oh. And I saw in the picture the fish looked dead. How is the fish doing currently?
It is dead.
It is dead.
Yeah, it only lived for like a day and a half.
So Casey Hoshauer gave you a dead fish.
Not Casey.
Oh,
Casey.
Jesse. Okay, so I think you should take that as a threat as well. Like, or it could, if it had been dead and she'd known about it, she should have said something like, unlike this fish, my love for you will never die.
Oh, man.
That's romantic. So put that on a card. So, with this dance thing, we're in the same group. Jesse, Casey asked our friend Tanner Kilpack.
Sitting over here on the side of the camera.
So they're all in a group together, so we're in a group together. Harley is Jesse and Casey's cousin. So, I don't know if they gave me permission to display their family relations on camera, but guess what? It's out there now.
It's already is, so...
But that's another thing that siblings in school can help you with is get date groups.
There you go.
So, yeah, use them. Use that. But again, with this Ira Glass thing, it's such an incredible experience for, especially me and you, where we're jumping into this podcast world.
Yeah, especially the second one I've ever done right here.
Yeah, and we're having the greatest podcaster perhaps in American history coming to our school to do a podcast.
Yeah, we were going to be doing like a thing with him, like I don't know what you call it.
An assembly. Like,
yeah.
No, a forum. Like,
yeah. But we were going to be doing something with him with all the video classes here at Payson High School for probably an hour or more. Because they didn't really give him a time limit on how long he has to do it or how long that it could go up to. But he ended up, his schedule got pretty hectic that day.
Understandably.
Oh, yeah, you can't blame the guy. But we're going to be doing a Skype call before he flies out the day before on Thursday with him.
And he'll give us some good tips for this. I'm going to make sure to ask some questions about how to do a podcast well. So, yeah, Ira Glass is coming. If he ever somehow listens to this, shout out to him. Sweet. Let's move on to our next topic, which is, I believe, gender wars, correct? Yeah. So, the gender wars. I freaking hate this time of the year.
Oh my gosh. It gets so competitive between the two genders here at the high school.
See,
like,
I could be wrong, but before we came here, the boys were on a winning streak. Now, it could be said that I single-handedly lost gender wars for us.
You did.
Sophomore year.
You did.
Arguably, I don't think I did.
You were a little nervous, and you kind of.
I got a crazy handshake where, like, if I get, like, adrenaline at all, I don't handle adrenaline. I had to suck cups, which was a bad idea in the first place. If I had known I was doing that, I wouldn't have done it. And we were ahead at the time.
Because ours fell down too, right before it, so we ended up pulling ahead, and it was almost to the end, and Sasser puts it on, and it all fell down.
At the graduation that year, I had like 6 seniors call me out, like, "Hey, you're the kid who lost gender wars for us." And I'm like,
You're like, yeah.
At least I'm remembered for something from the graduating class of 2015. So, but we've lost 2 years in a row now. Mm-hmm. Maybe because of me, maybe not.
I don't think last year. I
didn't go. I had to hide my head in shame. I think I might be on a ban or something from gender wars. I think like the principal won't let me go in. Something about me throwing it for him. But gender wars is coming up this Friday, and I gotta say we have to get at least one boy victory in before we graduate.
We need to do what we can to get this victory. Will it happen? I don't know. Do I hope it happens? Yes.
I want to talk to you a little bit about like what gender wars means around here. It's like if you've never been to the gender wars assembly, it's a different experience. It's like
it's probably my favorite assembly.
It is the Super Bowl of assemblies. They divide the girls up and boys on different sides of the gym, kind of like a junior high dance, but not as extreme.
Yep.
And there's signs, and people come up with like cheers that most of the time aren't even clean.
Yeah, it's true. The one that I can say right now is the boys say to the girls all the time, "Make me a sandwich."
Make me a sandwich.
Yeah, and then when we end up going down, the girls say, "Go to Subway." So that's just one of the many cheers that we have.
And what's so confusing about Sweethearts in this time of the year period, I mean, we do gender wars so close to Valentine's Day. So 1 week we're tearing each other apart, like shouting terrible things to each other. Like I'm never gonna give a girlfriend because I said some mean things, and they're just. Then a week later, over 2 weeks later, it's Sweet Valentine's Day, and you're expected to go and interact with this gender again, and. Gender wars
makes it rough, but it's a good competitive atmosphere that you don't really get anywhere else unless you're in a really high-stress sports game or something.
Yeah, it's a different animal completely.
And it really just gives you the other gender bragging rights over the other one. So.
Yeah. So gender wars, come out and support the guys, or come out and support the girls if you're a girl.
Or the guys, I mean.
Just do it. We need help apparently. We're in a win drought.
Yeah, we needed some wins.
We've lost the last 2 years, so we need this one. We need this win.
For sure. Can't go out of high school without a win.
Yeah,
okay?
They'll never, especially if you marry somebody from this high school, they'll be like, "Hey, you may have beat me in Yahtzee, but remember gender wars in sophomore year when you toppled the cups over in front of everybody and it became hated?" Anyway, I think we better move on to that. Once again, gender wars this Friday. Now to our next story, which is on our sound producer, Harrison Carr's foreign language segment he did from last month. I took a foreign language class sophomore year. Have you ever taken one?
I took one my freshman year in 9th grade.
And I could never get it. Like, I don't know. I can barely speak English sometimes. So try to put me in ASL or I'm trying to do things with my hands. Like, it was rough.
You did ASL, huh?
I did ASL. ASL.
Oh, not to offend you or anything, you're not the most coordinated person in the world.
No, it was rough.
So...
one of my friends at the time, Dane Peterson, he would call me to the front of the classroom to give the pledge in ASL in front of everybody, knowing full and well that I couldn't do it. And everybody would just sit there as I'm like, America. I don't remember part of it now. It's been 2 years later. I couldn't remember back then when it was 2 days later. So, but Harrison talked about the perks of taking a foreign language class here in high school. And I would definitely say that there are some perks to taking a foreign language class in high school.
It used to be like really needed to be able to get into college.
I think it was required at one point that you had to take a foreign language class.
Like right before we were getting to high school, I was told that it's required. So that's why I took it my 9th grade year. But I think it just recently came that you don't need to take one to get into college. But if it does come between you and this other guy, and you took a foreign language class and they didn't, you're probably going to get accepted before they do.
Yeah, and there are certainly a crowd of people that can learn a second language and do well at it. And I think that's the kind of crowd of people that colleges want. I mean, that takes a certain mental level, a skill level, to be able to learn a second language and speak it well. I could never attain that with ASL. Maybe I'd be pretty good at Spanish. Maybe, probably not.
When I was taking Spanish, I was pretty good at it. So
could you give us some Spanish here, Jaydan?
Not anymore. That was 3 years ago.
So he was good, but he's not good enough to remember it currently.
I could probably count to 100.
Oh, I don't think we've got time for that. Nor do I want to hear that. I don't think anyone does. I'm sorry.
I used to be able to do the alphabet too.
Oh.
I can't anymore.
I can do the alphabet in ASL, kind of. But if you are in high school right now, or if you're even like a sophomore and you're listening to this, I would encourage you to take a foreign language class. At least try it. I mean, if you take it for even a semester and you get good grades and like, this is just not for me. I mean, that's still good grades in a foreign language class in college. You're gonna look at like they did it. They got good grades, so they can. There's something there that makes it so they can learn this language. So, yeah, and that's, I mean, even like the outcome of the class, maybe, like, I'm sure you didn't come out of Spanish class a full-blown Mexican.
No, I did not, that's for sure.
So, like, the grades are a part of it. Like, you've shown that you can compete on an academic level in that class. You can fill out the worksheets, you can do all of this and that is required to learn a language. You just didn't come out of it Juan Openshaw, not Jane Openshaw.
Sure.
I didn't come out of ASL speaking ASL fluently.
Yeah, not talking at all.
Yeah,
just moving.
I could never do that. Like the deaf days, I would just sit there and like, I respect the ASL students who are able to do that and do it well.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure.
So, once again, we would advise any future Lions to take a foreign language class, at least try it. We're beginning to wind down here in time. So, I want to talk about a little bit of the structure of what we're going to be doing from here on out with Main Talk. So, obviously, there's a lot of content for the Main Street Journal Monthly.
Oh, yeah, especially now with it being a new semester. We got easily another 20 kids in this class.
Yeah.
It's a full class now.
Yeah.
Where it used to only be one side of the room.
With a few others scattered on the other side.
Yeah.
The specific number is 6 or 7. So, we got... but we're a big class now. I mean, and that's going to be a long podcast if we sum up even half the shows.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. Even if we just took a minute on each one, it'd take probably 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Easy.
So, with Main Talk, we're going to try, no guarantees, because we got busy schedules. Harrison has equipment he needs to bring to and from home. I think we can do this monthly, and I would like to invite our viewers, the few that there are, and there was actually quite a few people who watched last month's. I think we got up to 20 people, which is one of the higher
that's nice.
Views in the class. So I'm proud of what we're doing here, and I'm proud that people are watching it. And I'd like to thank any returning viewers. Hope that they liked it enough to be able to come back.
Yeah, that's for sure. And with that too, we're gonna probably be able to get more to talk about more videos now that we'll try to do it every week now.
Yeah.
Not just once a month. So that will be good too.
So we're going to try to get special guest stars on. We're going to try to do some activities, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, that will be fun.
I think that's going to be fun to do with some other people coming on. So as we run out of time, try to look for us monthly, not monthly, weekly. And we're going to put a page in the Main Street Journal that has all of our episodes on it.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure.
Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Okay.
Signing off, I'm Dylan Sasser.
And I'm Jaydan Openshaw.
We'll see you next time.